Hi everyone, Jesslyn here from Sluts and Faux. Just to let you know, if you are not a member of the Facebook group, go ahead and click that link below and connect with over 12,000 members and growing. Today I'm going to be talking about some candling terms that are really big within the candle community, and if you're a newbie, you might not know these terms, and that's okay because we all start somewhere. So today I'm going to talk about those terms and try to explain it very easily for you in this short video. So here we go. Let's get started. So the first term that we're going to talk about today is EO, also known as essential oils, and FO, which is fragrance oils. EOs you won't see a lot in candles. They're not really good for pets if you burn it in the house, so I suggest staying away from essential oils and putting them in a candle product. Fragrance oils, though, are awesome. That's what our whole group is about, scent sluts and all the awesome scents that are fragrance oils. So go ahead and join the group. Plug again, shameless plug again. You should click that group because that's super fun. The next thing you're going to want to know about is CT, known as cold throw. So cold throw is the throw your candle gives off when it is not lit. So sometimes candles like this one right now, I can already smell it. It has a great cold throw. So that's just the scent when it's not lit. So HT, which is known as hot throw, is simply just the opposite. The hot throw is when their candle is lit, how great the scent throw is. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about that I see a lot in the group is about wax. You'll see a lot of numbers thrown around like 464, 6006, coconut brew, coconut bright, coconut apricot, a palm. So there's all these different kinds of waxes. And personally, it's just up to taste and what product you are looking to deliver to your clientele. So you'll want to have to do some research on that a little bit. Next thing I'm going to talk about is cure. So when you see what says cure time, that simply just means after you pour your candle and you let it sit, how long are you letting it sit before you sell it? So the usually the greatest cure time is about 2 weeks, especially if you're using soy. But your cure time will really depend on what type of wax, how much fragrance oil, train. So your cure time is really going to depend upon what wax you're using, your fragrance load, and your wick. So all those together make complete magic, and it's simply just what product you personally like and what you want to carry on your line. All right, something you will see said a lot is wick testing. I'm going through wick testing. Honestly, it is very frustrating to start wick testing. And for my personal line, I was kind of going through wicks left and right because I didn't know about wickless testing, and we're going to talk about that right now. So wick testing is just simply finding a wick that works perfectly with your fragrance oil and your wax. You don't want too big of a melt pool, too small of a melt pool. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. So right now I'm going to show you how to do the wickless testing method, which has saved me so much money, and honestly, it saves so much time. Okay, so here we go. Right here, I just went ahead and poured a candle, and there's no wick in it. I use this plastic lollipop stick. You can use a chopstick. You can use, some people say a drill bit. So really whatever has that nice thing. And I just punch it all the way through to the bottom. I pull it out, and then I take a wick. So this is a leftover from what I had earlier. So usually you have your long wick here. I mark them on the top, and then you just sticking it straight in that hole, my wick, and then there, see how tall that wick is? I cut that off. Literally, now it has a wick in there. So what you can either do is, if you want to take the heat gun and let some of the wax go into that hole, that's great. But you don't really have to. You can go right ahead and light it, and you can see how it performs. You just watch how it performs. If you realize it isn't performing very well, when your candle is lit and you have a nice melt pool in there, you're just gonna simply pull it out, wait for your candle to cure over again, and then poke a hole through it again and try a different size wick. Incredible, right? All right, next is power burning. You're gonna see this said a lot in the group, and I highly just do it. Do a power burn before you sell your product. All right, what a power burn is you simply light your candle as if you were getting it as a product and let it burn all the way. Do not blow it out until it goes out at the end. The reason why you want to do this is because you know you are going to have a customer out there that just burns this the whole day. And you need to see how your jar does, how your wick does, how your wax does, how your fragrance oil does, and you need to really prepare yourself to make sure nothing goes wrong if this happens in someone's house. Okay, trimming the wick. Let's talk about it. All right, you do need to let your customers know that you should be trimming your wick every 4 hours, or even if you light it and then blow it out, you should be trimming your wick. So a lot of times you're gonna see mushrooming at the top of wicks. Sometimes what that means is that your wick is too big. This is what's gonna happen if we light this. You're gonna have a really, really, really large flame. All right, and you saw that little popping, or heard it? It's popping a little bit. That is carbon buildup at the top of your flame, which is in that mushroom. Right now, look how huge this flame is, all right? This is what we don't want. So if we simply were to trim the wick earlier like we wanted to do, sometimes you're gonna have people that buy your product that are not gonna trim their wick. So I just trimmed the wick and look at that nice little flame, okay? This wick definitely is too big for these little jars, but it was simply just a scent test throw. Okay. Fragrance load is another term you're going to see. This is simply just the load of fragrance in an amount of wax. You will see fragrance load ranging anywhere from 6% to 12%. It really depends on what wax you're using, which is the best fragrance load for you. Melt point. This is simply just the point at which your wax melts. So usually for soy wax, it's going to be about 124, 125 where your wax is going to start melting. For other waxes, you're going to want to heat up to 200 if you're using a coconut wax. Or this smells so good, y'all. Y'all, it smells so great. Pour temp is simply when you are pouring from your pouring pitcher into your candle and what temperature that is. You'll make sure you want to write that down, because sometimes if you are using soy, you'll see something called frosting, and that could mean you just poured your candle too hot. So you got some of that frosting, which looks like white dust on the top of your candle. So you might need to play around with your pouring temperature. Frosting does happen a lot more in soy candles, but it does happen with other waxes too, but just not as much as soy. Also, the last but certainly not least, I know in the group I see a lot of questions just based on abbreviations of certain suppliers. TFC, CS, WSP, and all these different abbreviations for all these different companies. And people are like, I don't know what these companies are. Well, that's okay. If you join the Scent, Slut, and Faux Hoes Facebook group, which a link is below, if you join us over there, there is a file where it has all those great abbreviations for those companies listed, as well as all the information I went over today. I have a file with even more definitions, even more in-depth content. Thank you everyone for being here. I very much appreciate it and can't wait to see you again on the next video. Bye.